Lord of Omens, give me sight beyond sight. Beyond sight. Beyond sight.
What up, people? This is Sight Beyond Sight, and this is another exciting episode. We're going to talk about Secret Invasion episodes 1 and 2, and maybe a little Money in the Bank, and maybe some other stuff. So, I'm Nick. This is Blade Brown, as you know, and
It's fucking hot.
so what we're going to do is, I guess we'll start with episode 1 of Secret Invasion.
Yes.
I'll give you a quick summary of the two episodes. Basically, I think this takes place after the Marvels movie that didn't come out yet. So Nick Fury comes back to Earth, and basically some shit's going on. And you find out that there's a fraction of the Skrulls that are kind of wanting to take over Earth because Nick Fury and Captain Marvel promised them to find a new Earth, and they haven't done that since, when did Miss Marvel take place? Like 1990 or 1980 or something like that?
1991. Like, yeah, it was
1991. So so it's been over a couple decades. So there's a fraction that's trying to take over. They're like, no, we're gonna take Earth. So the other guy, I forgot, Talos, his right-hand man, kind of. You find out that his daughter's part of that fraction group, but I'm kind of guessing that she's a spy for them because the way she was acting in the second episode. And then the other thing is Talos lied because he didn't tell Nick Fury that all of the Skrulls came to Earth instead of just like the little bit from Miss Marvel.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about all of it all together. We're not gonna do one episode at a time. We're just gonna talk about the gist of it.
Yeah, just do a thing, and then we can just go off on.
All right, yeah.
So it's you in between these two episodes, you'll find all this out. So it's a spoiler alert. So basically, you find out Talos lied to Nick Fury, and Nick Fury's like, "Yo, I'm done with that. Like, you lied to me. How can millions of Skrulls be on Earth? Like, this is crazy." But Talos is still a good guy, supposedly.
That scene was awesome though on the train. Like, I don't know why, but it was like that was something about Sam Jackson, like the way I was like, that's why he's a legend.
Yeah, I like that. And I kind of like I heard listening to a couple podcasts that they didn't like how he looks because they overemphasize the marks and they don't have the patch.
Because the marks are very detailed now compared to what they used to be.
But I don't mind that because it's like, why would he want to wear a patch all the time, especially if people know that he wears a patch? So
I think it's cooler without the patch sometimes when he's talking like and he's trying to be serious and you see that dead eye or whatever.
Yeah. Looks like he got cataracts.
Mm-hmm.
But so basically right now there's basically the two episodes is just Nick Fury coming to Earth, finding out what's going on, and realizing that he's been lied to and these Skrulls are trying to take over. So I think episode 2 showed a little bit more, especially the end credit. If you want to get to that later or now, I don't know what you want to do.
Oh shit! Wait, talk about there's an end credit at episode 2.
The end scene, not the end credit. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I was like, fuck, I gotta go look now.
But do you want me to talk about the end scene now or no?
Of episode 2?
Yeah.
Shit, what the hell happened at the end of episode 2 again?
Mingo visits his wife.
Oh, okay. And she's just all right. Yeah. I remember now.
Okay. So should I say it now or should I just?
Yeah. Fuck it. Let's just get into it.
Basically, in episode 2, more of the shit went down where you find out that there's hints to be there's going to be a Super Skrull because you saw on the computer that the Dragon Queen, I'm going to call her that because I don't know her name in the show.
Yeah,
but she went on the computer because this is when you start thinking that she's a spy for Nick Fury instead of the Skrulls. But she finds out on the computer that they have genetics from Groot, the extremists, not the extremists.
The people from Iron Man 3.
Yeah, the people from Iron Man 3 that turn, like, they glow and they breathe fire. And a couple other people.
The Ice Monster from, I think it's Thor 2.
Yeah, the
Thor
ice
one.
giants
And then they
from
said
Thor.
it's the other one because what I seen, they were saying that it's the hand of Homeboy that got his shit cut off in Infinity Wars.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
guy with the
they said it's his hand. I forgot his name.
yeah. Ah, damn it, the big guy.
hmm The guy
So
who got his shit when he was fighting Iron Man and Spider Man and all of them in the
yeah,
beginning.
so one of Thanos's the big guy, whatever. But on the computer they show those 3 DNA or 3 or 4 DNA strands. So that's kind of a hint towards a new super Skrull. And they have scientists and all that stuff. And then what do you call it? You find out at the end of episode 2 that Nick Fury has a wife, almost kind of like you didn't know it, just like Hawkeye.
Mhm.
But the wife is a Skrull, and then once it gets home, she changes back into like a human. But that makes you think like, does Nick Fury know that she's a Skrull or not?
That's because that's what I said about like the first episode. When you're watching the first episode, they kind of make hints that he had like a thing with a female Skrull, whatever. Like the
Yeah,
way
so he
they
should
tease it,
know.
even like the second episode, like the way that I can't remember his name, the bad guy, the main bad guy Skrull, that they're like pushing like the main villain. They
Yeah,
made
yeah,
it seem like part of his hatred towards Nick Fury is that he was probably fucking with his mom, you know, like, and the fact that
they
he
made it
lied.
seem that way, but it wasn't. Yeah,
Yeah, but they keep doing that. But at the same time, then you see the ending, so it's like maybe he doesn't know. Like that's why that train scene was so good, and like it made me like the episode, like, the second episode a lot because like I was like,
yeah,
damn, this shit is slow. But that train scene, it really was cool because once he found, he was like, wait, all of y'all are out here, like. Then he was like, you know what, get the fuck off the train, like da da da,
yeah,
like he was pissed, and like that's cool because like it's really just him alone, as you seen when he talks to fucking War Machine.
yeah. And
Who
that
might
was
be a
another
scroll.
favorite scene. What
Yeah.
makes me think War Machine's a Skrull because he's not using the things for his legs. So I was like,
But
is
did he
it?
always use them in the movies? That's what I'm trying to
Yeah,
remember now.
yeah. Even in Civil War. Oh no, that Civil War
No,
is
because
when.
Civil War happened, and then I'm trying to think. When was the next time you
When
seen him
was the last
besides when he
movie?
had the
Yeah,
suit on?
I'm trying to think. You're right, but I think he was a Skrull. I'm thinking he is a Skrull.
The way he made it, because that way, because didn't he leave with Talos, whatever his name is? But he doesn't know it's him. He thinks it's like the people
Mhm.
arresting him.
Yeah,
But that's why it made me kind of feel like maybe at least with the soldier, I mean not with the soldier, War Machine knows, like, all right, either that was scrolls that took him, or he is a scroll, and basically this is all gonna end in a clusterfuck of a bunch of scrolls, and we're gonna get like another thing. These 2 episodes were an hour long. They were literally 60 minutes, so that's how you know it was gonna be a movie originally.
yeah,
They're putting a lot of shit in there.
yeah. A lot of people are hating it for some reason because they have like a couple of the race jokes, but I'm just like, it
Mhm.
wasn't prevalent. It wasn't like, oh, this episode is about this. It was just like, he made like 2 jokes in what you say, like almost 2 hours. So it's like,
Yeah,
who cares? It's not even that prevalent. I liked, and I agree with you. I liked the scene on the train because it showed his dominance, and I also liked it with War Machine because he was just like, "Oh, you think I'm just gonna go with you?"
mm-hmm.
And he broke the guy's hand. And he was just like, "No,
I'm Nick
I'm gonna
Fury,
go by myself."
motherfucker.
And he was like, "This is how I survive." So he just left, and I was like, "Facts. I like that. I like that. I want to see more Nick Fury now."
Yeah,
But,
no. So far, like after the first episode, like the end of the first episode made me be like, all right, I like that kind of just going off, like, because they killed what's her name, Maria Hill.
yeah, supposedly, you never know.
Nah, but she had red blood coming out of her.
That's true.
The only time I seen red blood was when the dude cuts off the finger. He had
Yeah,
red blood for like a few seconds, but then it turned to turn green.
yeah. But I think that I don't know. But that was the weird thing to me. Like killing off Maria Hill in episode 1 was like, damn, that was your like second in command almost.
But that's
So
what makes the story a little bit more interesting because he's really alone now. Like when War
yeah,
Machine's over here, like I'm not gonna help you, da da da. Like you know,
they made War Machine like a traitor. Like I'm just gonna go with whatever the government says. He's
he's
done
been
that
a
to
traitor
Iron
since
Man.
Civil War. Yeah,
He did that in Iron Man 2. He was like, I'm taking this suit, Tony.
Oh yeah, that's when he finally got the suit. Yeah,
Man, he's a piece of shit.
yeah. They didn't really make War Machine as likable as you would think.
No.
Right until like he goes on the water or whatever it was his weakness in the cartoon.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. I'm afraid of water. That was racist. And they did that
It
in the
is
cartoon.
because I was like, no, Storm was the one that couldn't take like close quarters, whatever.
Yeah.
Every
It
time
was,
something collapsed
supposed to
on
be-
her, she was like, oh, and they were like, Storm, and they had to go help her.
Yeah.
But I know they had one for War Machine too. I remember that.
Well, that shit is crazy. But I like the 2 episodes. I think it was kind of cool to like. I want to see where it's going because
Mhm.
even though this takes place after Marvels, I want to see like, are they gonna actually do a Super Scroll in this show, or are they gonna wait
I
till
think so.
Fantastic Four?
Nah, I think so. They have to do. Actually, you know what? Maybe they're not. Maybe they will wait till fan, and they'll tease him at the end, like the end credit will show him or something.
No, I think they're gonna do Galactus as an end credit.
But we got to figure out how we getting Fantastic Four still. Until we know how they actually are getting introduced, at least
Yeah.
one character, we can't really say.
Yeah, that's true. There's nothing but hearsay about who's gonna be playing in that movie.
Like you think about it, like one of the things I was watching, like on YouTube, the way the person explained it, I can't even break it down, but he was just saying some shit like they would get the powers somehow from the scroll, like in a weird way type thing, like some way to do some radio action. I don't know. It was weird, and
Yeah,
I was
that
just like, I guess, but then another person said that Reed Richards might have been the person that Monica Rambeau called and Vision Scarlet Witch shit to get her suit because they were saying that he's like the smartest person on Sword or whatever.
okay.
So they're like maybe that was like a hint.
interesting.
So maybe in Miss Marvel's they're gonna go more a little bit towards that, you know.
I would hope so. I would really
Mhm.
hope so.
Well, Miss Marvel's is the next Marvel movie, isn't it?
Yeah, the Marvels. Yeah.
Yeah. So we gotta.
I don't know if it's gonna do good. All these movies are starting to do bad again, like really, really bad.
Mhm.
But I don't know.
You know what it is with the Marvels is gonna suck is that they're making Miss Marvel or whatever Captain Marvel you want to call her. She's basically the main villain. Like it's just gonna be an alternate version of her, basically, from what it seems like. From when you
If
look
that,
at the
if that was the case, that's
Yeah.
super dumb. I hated when they did that to that Logan movie, where it
Mhm.
was the robot version of him. Like, come on, you could have
Yeah,
put Sabretooth or fucking the 10,000 other villains he has. Like, come on.
Yeah, but let's see. I know it's not gonna be amazing, but I'm gonna end up
Yeah.
watching it anyway.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But I hope that the next episode is really good because I am interested in the show so far.
I would
I
like
don't
some
think-
more action. Some more.
Yeah, but if
scroll
it's gonna,
action, killing.
I agree with that because if it is, it's gonna be episode 3 next week. So if it's gonna be like a 6 to 8 episode season,
Mhm.
then they got to start getting into some action and some more story. You know,
Basically.
because they have at the end of the first one, it was just the bomb
they
going
blew
off, and then
blew up Russia and killed
Yeah.
Maria Hill, and that was the big surprise at the end of that one. Then
And then
this
the
one's a
beginning-
big surprise.
yeah, it was just the beginning of this one. They had that little action. We'll see, I guess.
Yeah.
So fuck it. We'll go into the Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank that just happened today.
Yeah, they
Which-
were in London, so it started early.
Yeah, it started real early. I'm kind of happy. I thought when I first watched it, I missed the fight, but it wasn't.
Mhm.
So how did you, since you're the wrestling person, how did you think overall it went?
Overall, it was a lot better than I was expecting because of a lot of things that they did right.
Mhm.
So, like, I'll start off with the easiest one that caught me off guard, like, because I was literally just like doing something in my room after a match ended, and then John Cena's music came on, and I was just like, "Oh, like, is that a commercial?" Like, I literally turned around, I was like, "Oh shit, he's really there."
Yeah.
So that was actually a good surprise and what they would consider a B level pay per view. That is not like a main talked about pay per view. So
Yeah.
that was cool to see that, and then he does his job. You know, he's trying to get over the young people. So I thought that was cool. But then besides that, the pay per view, besides maybe just the Ronda Rousey match, which the ending, now we got to see what happens with the whole Shayna Baszler turning on Ronda Rousey. Is like everything else happened the right way. Like Damian Priest should have won as much as people wanted LA Knight to win.
Yeah.
Damian Priest is on the best heel group besides the Bloodline, and he's been killing it since WrestleMania. What you gonna call it? Io Sky should have won. Like, so that was right. They did the Money in the Bank perfectly, which one of the two are gonna win the title. It's gonna be interesting to see how they do it with Priest, because I don't know when they're gonna make him like challenge for the title or how they decide to do that. So that's gonna be interesting. Io Sky, that should be cool. I think everybody wants the Asuka versus Io Sky shit, because I think that match would be kind of awesome.
It's two Asian girls fighting.
Yeah, but you know, that's that weird fandom shit. But all of that shit was cool. I think Logan Paul almost killed himself. I seen a picture of him after
Oh
the match.
yeah, when
Yeah.
Ricochet and him fell back, I was like, "Yo, he could have broke." I was telling my parents and I were watching that, and I was just like, "He almost broke his neck." I was like, I saw that, and I was like, "Ooh."
Like, from what I was thinking, what they were trying to go for, like that spot would have been insane if they hit it perfect. Obviously, they botched everything and they just did what they could do at that point. But that would have been crazy if they both would have landed on the top rope, like both feet hitting.
Yeah,
and then
I
hit
saw
this
that they
weird
fucked
high.
that up. Yeah,
That would have been dope, but yeah, they fucked it up. So
yeah, I know that there was a couple botches in here, but
it's gonna happen in ladder matches, especially with a lot of people. So
yeah, I feel like back in the day though, like the Attitude Era was a little better the ladder matches.
well,
Like I
it
just felt
wasn't
like
that many when it was 3-on-3 at the time. So you're working with one other person in the match. So you don't have everybody against everybody, and then you're trying to be at certain spots and do certain things,
Okay.
and you know
I see what
it's
you're
harder
saying.
when you're everybody against everybody off, and you have a teammate you could do certain shit, set up shit, make shit a little bit easier, probably.
Yeah,
At
because
least in my opinion.
I kept looking at it and it was just like the shitty part was you could see them like going slow up the ladder.
Mhm.
And from what I remember back in the day, it was just like you could see people running up the ladder, but then
Yeah.
somebody coming in and pushing it. Like I felt like it was off. The old
Yeah.
man's back. It's like a ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like he gets bored and he's like, I'm gonna pop up and see what they're doing.
Stop beating.
But freaking that spot was crazy. Well, yeah, that was pretty much it. Like everything else was cool. The Cody Dominic shit was cool. Everything worked. And then you get to the Bloodline shit where now I'm just wondering, like, they actually pinned Roman for the first time in over almost 3 years now it's been.
Yeah.
Like somebody actually beat him in the ring. So it makes me want now it makes me want to watch SmackDown to see what the promo is gonna be, to see what's gonna happen, because the whole group's gonna break up probably by the next WrestleMania. But are they gonna do Jay versus Roman now at SummerSlam? Because that would work. Like people would want to see that shit. Obviously, he might still lose, but like they really are building it right to the point where you kind of do forget that Cody lost at WrestleMania, and you think like, all right, when he comes back in next WrestleMania, hopefully he wins. You know, because the storyline hasn't gotten bad; it's still been solid enough. You know.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think the Bloodline's the best storyline in fucking forever that I realized. Just to go back for a moment, fucking Finn Balor should have came out as a demon, because, and I only say it not because I like the demon, but that would have combated Seth Rollins' entrance because everyone was cheering for him.
Yeah,
And
nah.
he stayed
Even if
there, like, doing the
even if we would have
like,
different shit, it would have not, because everybody wants to do that Seth Rollins song, and Seth Rollins is super over now. And I personally, I like the way that Finn does shit now with like even with more or less pay-per-views he's been doing it, because he doesn't really do it on Raw that I can remember. Like he comes out with like the cool little different types of masks and shit. Like
I like the mask, yeah.
like he's been doing that a lot. Like he comes out with some intricate shit that at least his entrance still looks somewhat cool. Like, and he doesn't have to lean on the demon. Like the demon's gonna be the demon's more a babyface thing. So
I get it. I get it. Which is
Mhm.
kind of contradicting, Demon and being a good guy. I get it,
yeah,
but I wish he did something when he was a bad. Like I understand, like the bad him is like a regular guy,
mhm.
but I would just wish he did because his entrance to me as a demon is so exciting with the fog and all that. I wish he
Yeah.
came up with something else because I like his mask. So say if he didn't get painted up and
Mhm.
he was the bad guy, have those masks, but do something cool. So when I see it, I'm just like, because Seth Rollins' entrance was just way better. And Seth Rollins was just doing this shit like the whole time.
Right now, you can't beat Seth Rollins and Cody because like the people want to send that shit. I knew that was gonna happen once he came out. Like they were dying to just go, oh, like. But
I'm happy that
at the
he's
end of,
getting the push he's getting now. I think he
yeah,
deserves it.
well, he does deserve it because his original push got fucked up because everybody turned on him because they
Yeah.
didn't really fuck with his babyface aspect. Like it was weird, but I don't know. I personally, I think it's great because freaking whatchamacallit, Cody's. I mean, Seth is awesome. Like personally, Seth is probably my favorite wrestler in WWE. Whereas, like, I watch all his matches because I just think his matches are always just good. Like, they're solid,
Yeah.
good matches. Even like his bullshits on Raw, where they don't really get to do a lot. Like, even today, he didn't do a lot. It wasn't a long match, but they tell good stories and he just
Yeah.
works
I
good with
agree
them.
with it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
him and Finn are a good matchup because I think they're both good wrestlers, generally
Hmm.
speaking.
Yeah.
But I really want to know why Damian Priest did that.
I really think they're gonna break up Judgment Day in a weird way
But
because
why though?
because I don't like personally. I don't know why. I can't even give you a reason why. Because personally,
But
I like Judgment Day. Like they grew on me a lot, especially because they found like their niche, like they say, like
yeah,
where they actually now come off cool. They could be corny. They could be funny. Like it works. Like Finn, the build up to the match with Seth, honestly, it was good. Like it kind of goes into why Priest did what he did because they kind of teased that in on a Monday Night Raw.
okay.
But Finn, like for what was it? That the week before the pay per view or the 2 weeks before the pay per view, when Seth came out, they were doing the shit. He came and attacked him from behind, beat him up backstage. Then he beat him up on NXT. So they did good with
Oh,
shit
okay.
like that. And then like Dominic, he's great with Rhea, and then it
Yeah.
works like she does her shit when she needs to do it, and then he's there doing his shit, and then she'll hop in and help him and da da da. Like but the thing is that Damian Priest is kind of breaking away in his own way, like because now they're seeing more that he could be a single star. All of
Okay.
them, if you look at all of them besides Dominic, because Dominic is obviously new and a rookie technically,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, they all have been single stars in their own way, except for Damian Priest because he's been up and down indies, da da da.
Yeah.
So now they're saying like, oh shit, you had that great match with Bad Bunny, doing this, that, and the third. Now they seeing it, so they slowly pushing him. That's why I'm hoping that they keep it together in a way because I want them to be a good bad guy group with him as a champion. But at the same time, I think if they break him up, they might still give him the title off of like a BS win, like he'll cheat to win it,
Yeah.
and then he'll run with that little aspect for a while and just see how that works. So you just gotta see what happens.
What do you think about Dominic using more of Eddie Guerrero's tactics as a heel, like light, cheat, and steal, like when he would,
It works
Eddie
because he can't use his father's moves like that because his father never been
is
a
this,
heel,
yeah,
and everybody at the end of the day, the WWE fan base, the universe, or whatever you want to call it, we the ones that are old enough to know, and the ones that want to study or look up shit, we know the Dominic story.
yeah,
Dominic's been a WWE superstar since he was 8 years old, wherever it was. That he was there with the whole Eddie Guerrero's his real father.
yeah. I remember that.
So Yeah, that's how we look at him. That's why he gets the boost to the point where now when he's over and he turns on the ultimate baby face Rey Mysterio,
Yeah,
like that's what makes it cool. That's why I'm a big ass fan of Dominic. I love his heel work. I like the way he is. Like I think
that's
he's
why
gonna yeah.
I like him and Rhea because I love the whole concept. Like they boo him that he didn't want to let him talk, so then he
Yeah,
whispers to Rhea that she has to talk. Like
yeah,
I
yeah,
like
yeah.
that, but I just wish he just did like cheat and steal. I'm like, why don't you use that? Because you do a lot of Eddie Guerrero stuff as a
I don't
homage.
think that they think that he's there yet, and it works for him. Where no matter when he loses, he still gets heat, no matter what people hate him.
Mm,
And let's say like today's match, like you would have think like personally, I thought Brock Lesnar was gonna come out, and that was gonna be the build for the Brock Lesnar Cody 3 for SummerSlam, and
okay.
Dominic would win off of that, and that would have been more heat and da da da, and then you could get Cody to win back on fucking Raw if you want to, if you
Yeah.
think it matters, but she doesn't. But freaking, it still worked because like in the match, Cody, even though I wish he would have sold it later for the Brock match, but then it's Brock Lesnar, so Brock Lesnar wouldn't be scared like, oh my god, you have both arms, like your other hand ain't broken. Like it would have not worked with Brock being like scared. It worked with Dominic being like, oh shit, because one of the reasons Dominic wanted the match is taking
Yeah.
one arm. So it's little shit like that. Like he's a good heel because of shit like that. And then probably in a year or two, maybe like he'll get a title, he'll do shit, and then he'll get there. Like he's still growing. The kid is young still.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I just wish he used a little bit more of the light
Mm-hmm.
cheat and steal. I think he should have started when he fought his dad, like because
Mm-hmm.
that would have been a great like entrance to it. I think that would have been perfect because he's facing his dad. Even though he should have still lost like he did, but
Yeah.
to me, it's just like I like him as a heel because I agree with you. I think the everybody knows that he's so green that what he is now is perfect for that because
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he's is good to lose or to have Rhea help him. Like, and call what they call her his mom or something like that,
His
mommy.
mommy. That's his mommy.
So it's just kind of like that's a great gimmick, especially since it's like your legacy in a sense. And instead of being like, okay, we're gonna push you just because your legacy is like, no, you got to work for it. And I think being the character he is, he's working for it because the babyface didn't work. Because like you said, he can't do what his father does.
Nah,
And
the babyface shit worked in the beginning because it was cool to see him and his pops together, and we were all just happy to see. And it was like, oh shit, we're watching him grow and learn and all of that shit. But then once the rumors came out of like possible turning and da 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 and all of that shit, then people started thinking like, oh, that would be interesting. And then we get it, and it started off a little bumpy, but once they started really going into that prison dom, once
yeah,
he got arrested, that was
yeah,
it. Prison dom, it was a wrap from there. Like the kid, he's a fucking star now, basically. Like
yeah,
you make fun of him because he's supposed to be like the punk bitch. Like you never really you was in jail for like an hour, but he was like,
yeah,
when I did time, da da da. It's funny
yeah.
and it's cool. Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious. That's
Mhm.
why I like it because it's like he plays being the what's the word for it? Like a chump, but he's fucking hilarious at it. And I like the fact
Yeah.
that he's going along with it. And I'm thinking more in the lines like maybe his father's just like, yo, go with it.
Hmm.
Let this happen because you'll get your shine eventually.
He's
So
gonna
that's
be
why.
probably the opposite of his pops and be more like a career heel. Like that would probably help him more. Like he'll
Uh,
probably be a babyface at some point,
yeah.
but a career heel at the same time will be interesting to see. Like
Mm,
if he can actually do that and be the difference.
yeah. I would accept that too. Because what kind of gimmick is he gonna have as his baby face? Right? He's gonna go back to what he was. So it's just kind of like,
Yeah.
because he
Nah.
still needs to learn a little bit how to wrestle.
Hmm.
He needs to learn, he needs to learn a lot about the business more. And I don't know if he could talk good or not, but it's just like I think what he's doing now is so good.
Yeah.
And I think that whole, I think that group is pretty good, and I think the Bloodline is the best thing that happened to wrestling since forever. But I just like that they now have like the wrestling in general has a good stable of actual good talking and good wrestling.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of talent now that you realize like, oh shit, like there's people out there that they do what they do. It's just what they say, like unless you become the super duper star, nobody respects it. But if you're a wrestling fan, you see it and it's like, oh shit, like
Yeah,
like I can honestly say this is probably one of the best rosters just that I've seen in a long time, where they have a good mixture of different types of people
yeah.
that makes it actually interesting. And like there was other times like the Attitude Era was
The ghost
it
is
was.
back.
Holy Mark, stop
Are
getting
you
down.
drinking? Am I drinking or are you
Holy.
drinking? I don't even know.
Look at that. Look. Yep. You cover the whole picture.
But freaking like the mid 2000s, like early to mid 2000s,
Yeah.
like around 05 and shit like that. That roster was fire too, because that was when Cena, Orton was coming up. They had Guerrero, Kurt Angle, shit like that. So there's like been good years, but there's been a good amount of bad years too that I know I stopped watching. You know?
Yeah, that's the same with me. That's why I stopped watching for a
Yeah, I
while.
see that guy hiding back there.
There's somebody at my window? What the fuck?
Yeah. But yeah, that I think the whole pay per view was good. I just wish Rikishi or The Rock came out for the Roman Reigns.
Makishi tweets a lot on like Twitter about like
Yeah.
shit that happens in the storyline. Like, so he tries to play like all of them do. Even you heard, because I know you heard about Jacob Fatu. Like I told you.
Oh
about
yeah,
him.
that's the guy I wish that was in fucking wrestling with him. He should have been in Solo Sokova's spot.
Well, he tweets sometimes and he'll put like the one up like for the bloodline, da da da.
Yeah.
And but it's funny because I forgot there was an episode not too long ago with like the Jim Cornette episode. I forgot which show it was, but they kind of I think Brian Last said it. He was just like Jacob Fatu, and Cornette was like, "I wish, but it's not gonna happen." You know, like it would have been happening.
That's the shitty part because I think that's what Jim Cornette said too, was that Solo is so he doesn't look imposing when they made him the enforcer, and Jim Cornette said like it should have been Jacob because Jacob looks crazy.
No, Jacob's a bigger person. He does look crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, like
go ahead.
Solo's good, but Solo, from what I heard and like look, he was in the Indies for a while. Then he ended up in NXT. He was only in NXT for a couple of months when they did the whole rebrand shit that they did.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they ended up bringing him up randomly to do this shit
for the bloodline. Yeah.
But the thing is, like, he is getting better as you watch him, but it's like, yeah, you don't see him being the person that's gonna beat Roman, you know, like
no. But the funny thing would be if he became head of the table. What they were saying that like, oh, I don't want to be here, and like the Usos are just like, I don't want to be head of the table. He doesn't want to be head of the table, but we'll make Solo the head. Mm-hmm. And I think that would be a good for like a short period of time to make Solo, because he's so still to me green, especially when it comes to shit, because you don't really hear him talk that much. He's just quiet and you know, he stands like this. And I really don't like his fucking the move with Samoan dagger or whatever.
You don't like the Samoan fight?
No, and I was looking up like who made that, and it was Umaga. So I was looking at Umaga does it, and I was like, Jacob looks like Umaga, and Umaga had like 10 moves that he did.
That's his uncle.
And I was just like, Solo needs more moves, because when Umaga did it, he sold it. He was like, like he was a crazy Samoan guy before.
There's been times. No, I get what you mean, because there's been times that you look at it and just like it is what it is, and then there's been times that he's done it good. Like he gets the facial expressions, he sells like when he's about to hit the person, da da da, and it looks good.
He needs another move though.
All right. I would like this. If you watch what he does, like in the ring, like he's slowly becoming Umaga. Umaga, it sucks because he was fucking nice. Like the two characters that gave him everything, like he was one of them, and then he ended up passing away, which sucked. But like,
Yeah.
that's what makes seeing that whole Uso shit to me fucking cool, because like I see the Rikishi shit and the Usos and da da da, and then like
The
this
whole
guy.
fucking actual bloodline.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Solo is Rikishi's son too, but he's paying more homage to his uncle, trying to
Umaga,
be
yeah.
more like Umaga, which is awesome.
I wish,
Yeah.
and I'm happy about that. I just wish he did more Umaga shit
Mm.
besides his Simone Spike.
Once he
But
becomes like more of a either a solo heel or a face, he'll start doing more shit.
did you
They
see
do
the
some
Rock?
soul. Yeah.
Did you see the Rock thing in that fight? I think they did the whole like.
Mhm.
I think the Usos like paid some homage to the Rock,
Mhm.
and then I thought he was gonna do the people's elbow, but he was just like. I was
Because
like, oh shit.
all right, so the thing is, like, one of the now that Vince McMahon is, well, he quit and then he came back, obviously, after the whole merger shit that they did. But he's not really there. What I've noticed as when I do pay attention, because sometimes I don't be paying attention, I'm not gonna lie. The days that Triple H is really there running shit, you could see a little bit more of the freedom with the way they talk about shit. Because like Michael Cole bringing up the 4 Horsewomen that's in a way mentioning Sasha Banks. Which
Okay.
if Vince McMahon was there, he would have not wanted that probably even mentioned.
Okay.
Matt Riddle versus Walter or Gunther, whatever, bringing up indie promotions, saying that they fought each other before in that promotion, and not saying like, oh, they fought in like NXT. That's not normal shit. So you could always tell where they doing certain shit, they get away with it.
Yeah.
So today was, I think, one of the reasons why the pay-per-view was good, because you could see everybody was having fun, they were loose and relaxed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did seem that way. I'll agree to that. I just didn't like that. It's not that I saw a lot of botches, especially. I think it was more prevalent in the ladder matches, but it was just kind of like, I don't know if I'm remembering it wrong, but I just felt like back in the day when they're doing ladder matches, you could tell the urgency to get to that thing. So people weren't like doing like a slow climb and waiting.
They would do the soul climb, but it would look different. Like now, yeah, a lot of shit looks different now, especially with the fucking technology and everything that we see every fucking angle. Like when we were watching the women's match, I don't know if you noticed at the point after Trish and Becky powerbombed Shorty off the ladder.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, HD is that damn good that I'm like, I think Trish Stratus broke her nose or whatever, because you could see the black and blue and all this shit. Yeah. But no, in the ladder matches, they would still climb slow. Like, don't get it, because like they do that shit in all the ladder matches because they had to.
Okay.
Sometimes because they don't know the person's coming or you never know. They do certain shit. That's what kind of makes ladder matches sometimes annoying, because like, oh, he's not gonna go up there now and get it. Something's gonna happen. But that's always been a thing. Like I said, like depending on the type of, like even when you get one-on-ones, I've seen multiple one-on-one matches where they'll do the ladder matches. They'll hit the spot, the guy's outside the ring and he's trying to climb up, but he's playing to like the knee or whatever hurt him, to give the guy time to be on the floor and get up and get in the ring and and they build in anticipation and all of that.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm probably remembering it wrong. I just saw it was just like, I'm just seeing everything. And I'm just like, come on, like run up the ladder. Like I just felt like if I was there, I'd be like, yo, run up the ladder, and somebody runs up the fucking ring and knocks it over. Like
some people do run up the ladder, and then when they run up there, they have to give a few seconds, so they act like they can't figure out how to grab the shit, to wait for a person to push them off or grab them or whatever. Like it does happen sometimes, but if you don't have to do that type of spot, you don't do it. Even like, so the setup to the Ricochet Logan Paul spot, the way LA Knight was doing it, like I was just like, why would y'all do that? Like, why would he go after one person individually to bring him down and then go up? And then you see how they both kicked him and then he went and pushed him. I think that kind of fucked him up too, because it was like, you know what? If they would have both kind of ladder found good foot placement on the ladder and didn't have to move and then they just pushed, maybe they would have had a higher chance of landing that way instead of kicking and then, maybe they moved a few inches off and it threw him off, like just stupid shit like that.
Yeah.
But
high flying shit is always difficult though. especially if you're trying to land on the fucking top rope. Both two people landing on the top rope
Yeah,
and trying to like, do
surprised.
some shit. Like I saw,
Nigga-
like soon as
Yeah.
Ricochet fell, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's not good. He went back on, but Logan Paul just couldn't put his feet on there, and that's why they did that flip. And I was like, yo, Logan almost fucking died on that.
Because
I was
Logan in it.
Yo, I
He
saw his
didn't
head.
flip with
I
him.
was watching it. I was like, yo,
Mhm.
yeah,
Like if you tell, you could see that Ricochet once he got his shit, he was flipping, but the other
Yeah.
nigga wasn't flipping, so they just said, "Oh shit," and went straight.
yeah,
But shit, what I was gonna say? But there was
That-
another spot. But for Ricochet, when he did the what was it like? Not shooting star, like the flip into the ring onto the person on the ladder.
yeah,
Like that spot, I was just like, damn, like because he didn't land on him fully, he landed like upper body more, and it felt like that. I was like, yo, I'm wondering how that your body must just feel like just went pow, like
yeah.
yeah.
This shit is crazy. But I thought it was good too. It was kind of interesting.
I give
I
it
just
like a-
really wanted to see the bloodline, to be honest.
But that's what most of these pay-per-views come down to is like you want to see Cody because Cody's over and you just want to see what he does. You want to see the bloodline because you want to know what's going to happen next in the story. If you're a wrestling fan, like, and you want to watch a good match, you're going to watch whatever Seth does most likely. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, like the people I'm already mentioning all have good matches.
Yeah,
But in this breakdown of that type shit, and then it goes into just the other shit like the Judgment Day, and you get your little stories there, and then it kind of trickles away. But that's the top three things right there: Seth, Bloodline, Cody, honestly,
Yeah.
and then Judgment Day is a close fourth.
yeah. That's pretty good. Pretty good. So yeah. So we're probably gonna do a little live in a little bit. So
Mhm.
I hope you liked our reviews for Secret Invasion episodes 1 and 2
Real
and
talk.
Money in the Bank. And shit, we'll come back to you next week when we talk about Secret Invasion 3
Again.
and what else?
Not Dark Side of the Ring because they don't come back until like another 2 weeks. That one I kind of want to talk about because Adrian Adonis does interest me.
Yeah.
If we can, there'll be some other shit. I'll figure out some other shit. I know there's other shit I can talk about.
And we were going to talk about Dark Side of the Ring today, but Andrew's
Trying
gonna
not to be
cry,
depressed.
so,
Yeah. I'm already crying from like the semi-humidity in New York, where it's like it's supposed to rain, but you know what? We're gonna just act like we're not gonna rain for days, so it's just gonna be muggy. Yeah.
So hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, and follow. And we'll talk to you next time, people. Peace.
All right. I look like a bum, but it is what it is.